Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the October 27th edition of Carolina Week.
Election Day is less than a week away. We'll tell you about the key races in our area.
3 agents have been identified in the ongoing NCAA investigation, and newly released documents reveal what was happening behind the scenes.
In sports, the football team looks to get back on track, and the field hockey team is in an unusual position.
Weathercaster Suzanne Wilson will let us know when we can expect fall weather.
All that and a tasty concoction brewed up by a pair of transplanted Tar Heels. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
It's one of the most important midterm elections in decades, and it's less than a week away. Good evening, I'm Eddie Sykes.
And I'm Claudia Reepsich. Thank you for joining us. President Obama says this election is just as important as the 2008 election that swept him into office with Democratic majorities in both houses. And the president is hoping the young people who helped elect him can now counter discontent among older voters about the direction the country is headed. Some of those younger voters have already visited the polls, taking advantage of the opportunity to vote before Election Day, November 2nd. So far, more than 8,800 people have voted in spots across the county. Students who want to cast their votes don't have to travel very far. Early voting at the Moorhead Planetarium is open from 9 to 5 daily until Friday. The Orange County Board of Elections office and Seymour Senior Center are other early voting locations. They'll close Saturday at 1 p.m.
The 3 most important elections in North Carolina involve a sitting senator and 2 longtime members of the House. Republican Richard Burr is seeking a second term in the U.S. Senate. Burr is running against Democrat Elaine Marshall. The 538 model, which is based on an aggregate of polls, predicts that Burr has a 97% chance of winning the seat. Burr also has about $2 million more cash on hand to spend than Marshall. No incumbent has won re-election for this seat since 1968. In North Carolina's 2nd District, Democrat Bob Etheridge is running against Republican Renee Elmers for the House seat he's held for the last 14 years. The district is leaning Democratic, but polls predict that Etheridge still has high 90% chance of winning the seat. Etheridge also has nearly $300,000 more cash on hand to spend than Elmers. Democrat David Price is running for re-election to the House in North Carolina's 4th District against Republican B.J. Lawson. Price is expected to have a 96% chance of winning the seat he's held for the last 22 years. And earlier in the week, I actually had a chance to sit down with the congressman to discuss all of the negative ads that both sides have been running. We're joined this afternoon by congressional candidate David Price. Mr. Price, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Why is the prevalence of negative ads that attack other politicians kind of more common than the ad that says, well, here's what I'm here to do. These are the things that I want to accomplish.
Well, I mean, there are studies that show, and you can just do your own little experiment. Think about past campaigns and what ads you remember. Usually you remember the more negative messages. Certainly people in this state have a lot of memories of that. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't do a mix of advertising which presents your own position, your own record. You're accountable for that, but you're also revealing differences.
Do you take issue with any of the ads that he's run against you?
Well, you'd have to tell me.
Obviously that's going to be something that you take issue with. But you know, speaking of negative ads, I mean, it's been relentless for a long time now, and it's very personal. And I think my ads are very different in tone. My ads are not personally. They're not personal attacks. They are not unflattering pictures. They're basically straightforward issue differences, and that's legitimate. So yes, I take issue with the tone and the content of the attack ads that he's run really for months and months against me. You know, it's his privilege to run what he wants to, and we're going to make sure that people know what the facts are. One final question, kind of we were talking about the political ads that have been running, the kind of things that have been said back and forth, and Mr. Lawson has said that he thinks that you've been in Washington for too long. He says that you've even possibly lost touch with this district. How do you respond to that?
I feel perfectly in touch with this district. I'm around all the time, and I think
constituents know that I'm here all over this district all the time.
That's congressional candidate David Price. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Also on the local ballot, a proposed tax increase that could have you paying a few extra cents for your everyday purchases. A quarter-cent tax increase is on the ballot for Orange County residents. County officials say they need the increase to help pay for basic services. The increase would mean that items like clothes, books, and snacks could cost you more next time you visit student stores. The county expects to raise $2.3 million from the increase each year. 15%, which is about $350,000, would benefit Orange County libraries and emergency services. Voters can approve or reject the increase on November 2nd. And a little rainy weather can't dampen the spirits of UNC students celebrating homecoming week. Events in the pit this week have ranged from pie throwing, which were pretty messy, to campaigning. In addition to sponsoring the pie contest, the CAA is selling homecoming shirts to raise money for Dance Marathon. 6 homecoming candidates are competing for homecoming king and queen, and 2 will be crowned at this weekend's football game against William and Mary.
Well, a dorm at UNC has earned some special attention because of its energy-saving efforts. Being green is the way to go at UNC's Morrison Hall. Morrison won first place in a national competition sponsored by the EPA to see which building could reduce energy use the most. Outside, you can check out Morrison's solar panels. You can see them right there. And inside, a touchscreen computer will give you up-to-date information about the building's solar and electricity use. And let's not forget about the traditional recycling methods. Energy in the dorm is just 35.7% compared to last year, saving almost $250,000 in utility bills.
Chapel Hill town officials are revising downtown development plans after getting public feedback. Town officials hired the design firm Kling Stubbins to outline a new plan for downtown. Project designers will meet today to make changes and review comments from community members. The new draft includes construction of new streets, crossways, and off-street parking lots. A major part of the project includes building a new transit center to help reduce traffic. Town officials expect to finish the plan by December. And the NCAA investigation involving the UNC football team is still dragging on, but there might be some good coming from the situation. Reporter Kirsten Garrison tells us about the beacon of light that's at the end of this tunnel.
We know one of the effects of the investigation. 3-star players out for good.
If I would have known what would have maybe got them off track, I'd have loved to have been a part of maybe trying to get them back on track.
That was October 2nd, the day UNC football coach Butch Davis announced that Marvin Austin, Greg Little, and Robert Quinn wouldn't play for the entire season. On October 22nd, Todd Stewart, Michael Katz, and Chris Hopkins are the agents listed as having provided financial benefits to players. The documents include 6 letters from athletic director Dick Bedore to the NCAA outlining the violations and the agents involved, 3 letters specifying Hopkins as the runner involved. The documents are 19 pages long, and it sheds some light on who was involved with doing what, from booking and paying for hotel rooms to buying access passes to pool parties. However, the documents have been highly edited, so we don't know which player was involved with which agent and what benefits they received. One of the letters addresses Hopkins directly and bans him from interacting with UNC athletics for 5 years and outlines the 4 NCAA rules he might have violated. The university has information that says Hopkins might have provided benefits, arranged meetings with financial advisors and agents, offered to purchase gear, and said he was a university representative. At this time, neither Dick Bedore nor Butch Davis have commented to the media about the release of these documents, but regardless of who provided the benefits, Butch Davis admits the football program should have been more proactive.
Maybe we should have educated some of these guys even more so earlier in their career so that they would have heard it over and over and over instead of, you make the assumption that some guys have heard it 10 times. Well, some guys might have only heard it for the first time.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kirsten Garris, Carolina Week.
Now we'll have to see if the actions the university has already taken will be enough to satisfy the NCAA. And it looks like you'll have to clear out from Franklin Street a little bit early this Sunday.
And coming up, we'll show you how Chapel Hill is preparing for the big Halloween celebration.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby,
Susie? Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit americansforthearts.org.
There's a place, not so far away, a place where you don't have to keep the volume down. You'll find all sorts of creatures in this place without have to. The silly you, the proud you. You may even meet the curious you.
You!
Ask your parents to take you to this not so far away place. Come to the forest, where the other you lives. But first, stop by discovertheforest.org.
Members of the Chapel Hill community are getting ready for the annual Halloween celebration on Franklin Street. But reporter Rachel Nash tells us people will have to clear the streets at 1:30 this year as part of an initiative to keep the crowds down.
As the jack-o'-lanterns are set out onto porches and the first leaves begin to fall on Franklin Street, it means one thing: Halloween is coming. And senior Rose Guo is making her own custom Roman candle firework costume. Guo says she's more than pumped for her last Chapel Hill Halloween hurrah.
And I want to be with all my friends. I want to go out and see everyone else's crazy costumes.
And the biology and religious studies major says she's never been bothered by the crowds before.
I've always felt really safe on Halloween whenever I go out. I've never thought it was really crowded either.
But city officials want a smaller crowd, so there are some suggestions for this year's homegrown Halloween. Bar owners are encouraged but not required to charge a $5 cover and to close their doors at 1 a.m. Chapel Hill Mayor Mark Kleinsmith says these measures will keep out-of-towners out of Chapel Hill.
This one's for the people who live in Chapel Hill and the students at the university.
An estimated 80,000 people celebrated Halloween on Franklin Street in 2007. That's why the town council decided to begin homegrown Halloween in 2008. Chapel Hill Chief of Police Brian Curran.
Our hope was if we could reclaim it for Chapel Hill again, we could cut down the number of people that were there, we could make it safer for folks, and people would have more fun as a result.
But Guo says no matter what new rules are in place, as long as people realize she's dressed up as a firework, she'll feel like it was a successful Halloween.
I want everyone to know what I'm trying to be, because right now I just look like a shiny, pimpish thing, which isn't what I'm going for.
Guo plans to go out with a bang. In Chapel Hill, I'm Rachel Nash, Carolina Week.
I'd like to correct myself. The streets will actually close at 11:30 p.m. And Mayor Kleinschmidt says he hopes the turnout will be down to about 30,000 this year.
Well, you might not think that the college Republicans and a gay rights group on campus called Jablitza have much in common, but this week they're focusing on their similarities rather than their differences. Jablitza, an organization for LGBTQ individuals and supporters, teamed up with the UNC College Republicans to host conservative gay advocate and Go Proud founder Chris Barron. About 50 people, including Chapel Hill Mayor Mark Kleinschmidt, turned up for the event, and Barron answered questions from members of the audience and said that he wasn't surprised that many were skeptical of his views.
A lot of what I saw tonight is kind of the conventional wisdom in the gay community, that conservative policies must be bad for gay people. And I think the reality is actually completely and totally the opposite.
Both Jablitza and college Republican leaders say the event was a success because it promoted healthy debate. Well, weathercaster Suzanne Wilson joins us in the studio. Suzanne, it's uncomfortably warm out there right now.
Suzanne, I see the leaves are falling, but where is this fall weather?
We have had some warm temperatures and rain the past couple of days, but will it stick around? Also a glimpse of your Halloween and game day forecast.
Detalles sencillos tienen el mayor impacto. Por eso toma el tiempo y hoy sea un buen papá.
Un día en el bosque las ratas jugaban. Fósforos que no es muy bueno.
Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú. No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. Fuego. No hay nada para que un pobre conejo asustado a un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
Hay uno en el sofá. Hay un monstruo en mi cama. Haz que se vayan los monstruos.
Aprende cómo ayudar a detener sus ataques de asma en noattacks.org.
Good evening and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Suzanne Wilson and thanks for sticking around. It does look like we're going to have one more day of rain ahead, but also sunny skies will return after that rain comes around. It looks like we're also going to have a weekend cool down, so those warm temperatures will be leaving our area. So take a look at our satellite radar. You can see this low pressure system up here, which actually has a low pressure, central pressure of 960 millibars, which to put that in perspective is as low as a hurricane. So it's pretty crazy and has some strong effects. So it's very windy, and it's what's been controlling our weather the past couple of days. So the thunderstorms and the severe threats that we've been seeing are because of this low pressure system and this cold front that's sitting over our area. Taking a look at our surface map, the cold front is sitting over the Appalachian Mountains currently, and it has weakened a bit. So we're not going to be seeing the tornado watches and warnings as much this evening and into tomorrow as the front moves over our area. But it will be bringing some rain into our area as we move into Thursday. So tonight into tomorrow, it does move across North Carolina and brings us some rain. So our last bit of rain will be tonight and tomorrow as we move into our week. Tonight, mostly cloudy conditions, windy out there because it will the front will be moving over our area, and there is a 60% chance of thunderstorms. So there is a possible threat of some severe weather out there. We're only going to get to a low of around 70 for the night, which is quite warm, but all the cloud cover and the front moving over is what's keeping us warm for this time. Thursday, rain possible before 1 p.m., but right after that rain, the front moves through and the rain leaves the area. The sun will come out and we'll have a sunny afternoon. Again, record high temperatures with a high around 82 for Thursday. But as we move into the weekend, it does look like it's finally going to cool down. Looking at our Saturday forecast for the football game, we're playing William & Mary on Saturday. Tailgating time, it's going to be looking like fall temperatures. So we're going to be around 54 for the beginning of tailgate. Kickoff is at 3:30. High for Saturday is going to be around 65 for the day. Partly cloudy conditions. In the post game will be a temperature around 59. Sunset is around 6:20 for Saturday. So as the end of the day progresses, a light jacket will be needed as the game progresses because sunset is earlier. On Halloween on Sunday, the afternoon temperature, we're going to have a high around 68 for Sunday. And as we move into the evening and you're heading out to Franklin Street, our low will be around 43 for the evening. So it's going to be quite chilly. So whatever you can do, try to stay warm out there in your Halloween costumes. Taking a look at our next 5 days. Thursday, we do have a 30% chance of rain as we move into the morning hours and early afternoon. High of 82, again 80 on Friday. So we're really having those warm temperatures towards the end of the week, but take a look at these lows. We're really cooling down, 45 for tonight and for Thursday night, and then 34 for Friday night. So as we take a look at the next Saturday through the weekend, on Saturday, we will have a low of 65 for the game, 68 on Sunday for our Halloween, and it looks like we are finally having some fall temperatures out there.
It's really great to know. You know, we have a lot of things going on this weekend, a homecoming game, so it's good to know the rain's gone and the sun's here.
Yep.
And finally, some cooler temperatures in time for Halloween. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Carmichael Community RAs at UNC are encouraging their residents to stay safe in October. The annual Safetober event brought more than 70 residents to the Carmichael communities Tuesday. Chapel Hill firefighters gave tours of their fire trucks, and Chapel Hill police officers tagged students' electronics with their names. Campus Health also shared counseling options with students, which included assault prevention and individual and group counseling. And our sportscaster, Justin Page, joins us here on set. Justin, what's going on? That was an embarrassing game against UM this weekend.
It's been a really rough week for the Heels.
No, that would not be an understatement at all. Just a brutal game in South Florida. Heels record drops to 4-3 overall, 2-2 now in the ACC. But there could be some good news. Coming up after the break, the Heels get a little bit of secondary relief prior to Saturday's homecoming game.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
So, April.
Yeah?
You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
These things we count on every day started as ideas. Ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. After facing a depth crisis against Miami, the UNC secondary is getting a much-needed boost. Senior cornerback Kendrick Burney has finally been cleared to play after missing UNC's first 7 games. Burney was suspended 6 games for accepting more than $1,000 in trips and missed Saturday's game against Miami because of questions about his academic eligibility. The Heels could definitely use the senior. In Saturday's game, Miami quarterback Ja'Cory Harris took advantage of a UNC secondary that's been depleted by injuries. However, despite Burney's return, it's safe to say that improper contact with agents is a serious problem in college football. Here at UNC, 5 players have either missed games or been kicked off the team for accepting benefits from agents. And with similar investigations at Southern California and South Carolina, the NCAA is finally looking to solve the problem. A panel of more than 20 college and pro football officials is discussing ways to prevent college players from accepting illegal benefits. The group is made up of NCAA executives, state government officials, and NFL presidents, amongst others. Interestingly enough, Coach Butch Davis's agent Jimmy Sexton is also a part of the panel. One of the options right now on the table is either fining or suspending players who accept illegal benefits during college at the beginning of their professional careers. Talk about some incentive. A rule like this would affect players such as Robert Quinn, Marvin Austin, and Greg Little, who you see right there, who accepted up to $13,000 in benefits. The panel plans to meet again next month. The secondary problems are just one of several issues the Heels will have to work on this week against William & Mary. The Heels are coming off their worst game of the season and will have to improve on both sides of the ball. After playing mistake-free football during the past few weeks, the offense made the same mistakes against Miami that cost the Heels the first 2 games. The offensive line will also need to do a much better job of protecting quarterback TJ Yates to prevent more interceptions. Yates actually threw 2 of his 3 picks on the season against the Canes, and a home game against an FCS opponent couldn't come at a better time for the Heels. The men's soccer team is improving to 12-1-1 on the year with a win against VCU. Last night, the Heels traveled to Richmond, Virginia, and proved themselves once again on the road. After a scoreless first half, redshirt freshman Josh Rice netted the lone goal of the game, his 2nd goal on the season. True freshman Robbie Lovejoy had the assist on that play. The game is UNC's 7th shutout of the season. UNC women's basketball senior Jessica Breland is making a statement already, and the season hasn't even begun. The forward has been named to the preseason All-ACC women's basketball team. Breland returns to the court this season after missing last year during her battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma. What an incredible story. She'll make her return to the court on November 8th against Carson Newman. Unfortunately, though, no other Heels are represented on the preseason All-ACC teams. As for the men's team, the season already looks promising, and that's refreshing. In the USA Today and ESPN preseason top 25 poll, the Heels come in at number 9. The team actually finished last season unranked, as many of you might remember. And the only ACC team ranked higher right now than UNC is Duke. Unfortunately, the defending national champions top the chart at number 1. Coming up this weekend, Carolina Olympic sports will be spread throughout the South. Following a loss against Maryland last weekend, the number 5 women's soccer team will play its last 2 regular season games this week. The Heels play at Duke on Thursday and then at Wake Forest on Sunday. The field hockey team will also play its final 2 games of the season this weekend. The Heels are now ranked number 2 after their first loss of the year, and UNC travels to Old Dominion on Saturday and then returns to Chapel Hill on Sunday to face off against Radford. So it's kind of hard to believe that right now the seasons are wrapping up, postseason play right around the corner, and of course, homecoming game this week. Make sure you get out there and root on your Heels. I know both of you will be there.
Oh, I'll definitely be there.
I'll definitely be there for sure. Thank you, Justin, for sports.
Well, did you ever think that drinking a beer can make a difference?
Coming up, we'll show you how two best friends wrote for a good cause.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Two friends have combined their passion for beer with their passion for the community.
Reporters Emily Kennard and Kelly Lynch show us one brewery that's making a difference in Durham.
The owners of Triangle Brewing Company in Durham go way back. They went to high school together. Growing up in the Northeast, Andy Miller and Rick Tufts became best friends and together set out on a quest to find quality beer. Their journey ended at Triangle Brewing Company, which they started in the summer of 2007.
When I called my mother and told her, I said, Mom, Rick and I are going to open a brewery. All she said to me was, of course you are. And that was the end of the conversation.
Located in northeast central Durham, Triangle Brewing Company is in the heart of undeveloped territory. But Miller and Tufts purposely built their brewery in this area to encourage other business owners to do the same. They started canning a month and a half ago, which has already increased business dramatically.
One of the sad facts about this is when we opened up 3.5 years ago, you used to hear gunshots out here a few times a week. I mean, it may have been a few times a day. Haven't heard a gunshot this year.
Triangle Brewing Company hosts several events throughout the year and also donates to Durham Public Schools and other local charities. Most importantly, they do so with a beer in hand.
I know there's a lot of people out there who talk about, I wish I could do what I love for a living. We did it.
Until next time, it's Emily and Kelly. And remember, every good beer has a good story. Cheers.
There really is a good story. Sounds like a great idea. Maybe we can get some tailgates this weekend. It's homecoming.
Sounds great to me.
No, most definitely. Homecoming game, probably the best tailgating scene of the year. Going to be a lot of alumni in town, and it should be a great scene, and the Heels should get a victory against William & Mary, or at least we can hope so.
Absolutely. What are some of the biggest issues we see at the game coming up this weekend?
Well, right now it's going to be about how this team can bounce back. I mean, they got really just an embarrassing scene down there in Miami, but it should be well against against William & Mary this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you all for watching and have a great night.